Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast. I'm Rose, and I'm a content creator going by the handle Cheap Lazy Vegan, and I also own a vegan cafe by the same name as the podcast, which is SaVeg Cafe.
And I'm Daniel, also a vegan, and one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends currently living in different countries, and we'll be giving our savage take on all things life, veganism, and the latest trending topics.
So basically, whatever comes to our minds, because we love to talk.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast.
All right, welcome back to the SaVeg podcast, everyone.
Hello.
Hey guys. So today we thought we'd do a little bit of a kind of fun episode, and we would talk about a little bit of an update in our lives. God damn.
Oh, wait, what's our topic though? I love how, what's our topic?
Oh, god damn.
Do we have a topic? Are we just chatting?
I thought we were just chatting, but no, we should. Oh. We could definitely have a topic. I mean, there's two.
Oh my God, I thought Daniel, I was hoping that Daniel, who is the executive producer here at SaVeg Podcast, would have a topic in mind. I mean, we could just talk. I mean, let's be honest, our life update might take an hour. So. Well,
exactly. Actually, no, it probably won't. So actually,
okay.
Today. Oh God, this is such a mess.
Guys, I honestly thought Daniel had a topic in mind.
I didn't. I haven't actually prepared anything. I kind of like.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
This is bad.
let's just go with it. Okay. Let's just roll with it. I don't know, guys. We're just going to go with it. I mean, I kind of like these type of podcasts where people just chat. Mm-hmm. And, maybe we can just talk about some current news, Let's do that.
What's been going on lately?
I'll Google some current news and we can discuss our thoughts.
God damn.
Even though, I mean, it's not going to be current because, well, if you're on Patreon, you can listen to this pretty soon. But
exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be about 2 weeks. So sorry, guys.
So currently, one thing that I did want to talk about is it's my own personal little experience of what's happening here in Spain.
So what's going on?
So basically, this week has been a bit of a roller coaster week for me. Emotionally
well, let's talk about the date first. So it is May 15th today, just to give you a little context. Okay, keep talking.
Yeah. May 15th. So about a week ago, the beginning of this week, I was informed that my flight back to Canada has been cancelled. So basically I was freaking out and
yes, as you do.
As I do, yeah. I always go through this process of as soon as something like this happens, I'm like, it's because up until this point, when you have a plan and you have everything kind of laid out and your mind is at ease because you kind of know what's going to happen in the next kind of couple weeks. So I kind of
haven't you seen Parasite, Daniel? You know what they say in Parasite?
What do they say?
Plans never work out.
Sometimes they do, Rose, okay? Sometimes they do.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, your flight from London to Calgary was canceled.
Yeah.
Right?
And then,
so you were supposed to fly from Spain to London and then London to Calgary, but the London to Calgary flight was canceled. And they didn't even tell you.
No, this is the thing. First of all, they did end up telling me this week. They emailed me after I'd already found out, though. So a little bit late. So airlines, I feel like you need to be more on top of this, to let people know as soon as they're canceled. But... yeah, I went on because I went on to go purchase more luggage for when I'm coming back from London or whatever, and that's when I went to the website of WestJet and was like, oh great, the flight is canceled, and I'm not sure if this is typical, but I think because obviously I understand everyone at the moment is struggling, airlines, a lot of big companies and stuff. However, a lot of these airlines, what they're doing is they're not issuing refunds for canceled flights. Well, you do technically get refunded, but you get refunded in travel credit. So or you
get a return. What do you call it? Exchange, kind of.
Exactly. You can exchange it for another flight, which would be fine if WestJet had any other flights that were flying from London to Calgary in the time frame that I needed, but they don't. And it makes me nervous, like, to book other flights just to have them, like, what if I book a flight with Air Canada and it gets canceled as well, and they also don't issue me a refund, and I just get credits? Because then, I could end up this year with, like, thousands of dollars worth of credits from different airlines. Yeah. So it's a bit crazy. I don't know.
Is that how all airlines are doing it now? Like now? I understand that especially airlines are suffering the most, but at the same time, I don't know. This is your money, dude.
But this is it, right? Like, this is the thing that's frustrating. I don't know if all airlines are doing it, but so I had one flight with Ryanair, and they said that I could request a refund in cash, but it was like such a process to try to get through all of these hoops, and like, I don't know. I feel like they probably like don't have money. Like, let's be honest. They probably have like no money right now, so they actually can't. Yeah. That's my guess because, yeah, that would make sense. I mean. And on Air Canada's website, because I saw another flight to Calgary. Well, it's not directly to Calgary. I'll have to tell you. I'll tell you about my dilemma.
Tell the story.
Oh, goddamn. Buckle in, okay?
I keep interjecting, okay?
This be crazy. Sorry. No, it's all good. So anyway, the flight was canceled, blah, 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 blah. I freaked out. I talked to the embassy here in Spain, the Canadian embassy, and they did, and I found some other flights from Air Canada. However, I guess now... the only flights to Canada from London are from London Heathrow, first of all. That's the only airport that's flying to Canada. And it's only to Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver. So
shut up.
Yeah. So basically, what the embassy had suggested I'm going to do is I need to book a flight, first of all, from Madrid to London. So my current flight is Alicante to London, but they think that's probably going to get canceled because it's such a small airport, Alicante. It's probably not going to happen. So they suggest book a flight from Madrid to London, then from London to Vancouver, and then WestJet from Vancouver to Calgary.
Okay.
So
are you going to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking into it.
When's the flight?
So the flight, there's a few, anywhere from like June 12th to June 18th is around the time I'm going to be coming.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, there's your solution, I guess.
I hope, but I just hope it doesn't get canceled.
Is there anything sooner? Well, is there anything sooner?
There are some.
Because I feel like the longer you wait, it's going to be a higher. Don't you think it'll be maybe a higher chance of it being canceled?
Potentially.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Actually, I have no idea. I don't know how the. Mm-hmm.
I just saw I think some of the flights there were some flights in May, I believe, but I think they were like super expensive.
Right.
Like ridiculously expensive. So.
Right.
I think I'm just going to try to hold out a little bit longer. But it's already like May 15th. So, it's almost...
I know, you have like a month.
I have exactly a month, yeah. So, oh God, it'd just be all stressful as all hell, bro.
God damn. Oh, Lord. It's fine. I mean, I'm sure you'll find a way home. Mm-hmm. I mean... And maybe at that time, it'll be less crazed. Who knows?
Exactly. And I think, to be honest, like a lot of people are experiencing this right now because... like everyone that I was speaking to that's in Spain, like everyone's having difficulties getting home. There's I just actually ran into somebody today when I was going for a walk, and she said like she's going back. She's from the States. She's going back on Monday. Someone else is going back at the end of the month. So there are still appears to be some flights to different countries, but it's just, I don't know, I guess the luck of the draw if your flight gets canceled or not, which is kind of scary.
Well, I guess the reason why based on what you've told me, the reason why your flight got canceled is because it was flying into Calgary. And I guess not much is flying into Calgary now.
Yeah. Well,
that's my guess.
Also, it was from London Gatwick, which I think London Gatwick has closed off part of its terminal that does international. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you fly from Heathrow to a bigger airport in Canada, I'm sure that they won't cancel it. Well, actually, I'm not sure, but there's a higher chance that they won't cancel it.
Exactly. That's why I feel like it's more secure. Like that's why I'm going to have to rebook my other flight from Spain. Do it from Madrid.
God.
And yeah.
The never-ending COVID saga.
Oh, God damn.
But again, remind yourself that this isn't the worst of it all. People are experiencing literal death. So this is like, anyway, COVID, fuck. It's crazy. God. It's been like 3 months now, hasn't it?
It's been a long time. It's been a long ass time.
No, it's been 2 months of quarantine.
So
only, because it started mid-March.
Yeah, mid-March. I know in Spain it was officially, I think it was like official March, I want to say 16th.
Yeah, so something like that.
It's been two whole months.
Well, apparently things are opening up in Spain. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, I would love to, Rose. God damn. This is why
and apparently some people getting drunk.
I know. This is why I was out of commission for a few days.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was really
okay. Please tell us what happened.
I was really bad. I probably shouldn't have done this, and I don't want the listeners to judge me because I was really bad.
I'm judging, so no one else can judge.
So basically,
keep talking.
In Spain, they've like done. I think a lot of countries are doing this, where they're doing kind of phased rollouts. So there's different phases. I don't know what phase number we're on, but what they started with first was because Spain, as many of you, if you've listened to the podcast, you know they did like a really strict lockdown. So it was like everybody was locked down. You could only go out for groceries, and pretty much nothing was open except for grocery stores. And then the first stage of the rollout, they let kids go out for like an hour or two with an adult. There could be up to 3 kids with 1 adult, something like this. Then adults could go for a walk last week. And then this week now, things are starting to open up. So bars, cafes, this kind of stuff.
I'm shocked.
I know. But they're only opened up for takeout, or if they have outdoor seating, it has to be, because you know how like in Europe, there's like a lot of like,
that makes sense actually.
Yeah. So you can still go and like sit and have like a croissant or whatever you want to eat at the places. And
or 3 bottles of wine in Daniel's case.
I did not have 3 bottles of wine. Okay.
Okay, continue.
That did not happen. But yeah, so a lot of the patios will be open, but again, all of them are quite spread out. And if you want to go use the bathroom in any of the buildings, you have to wear a mask. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of precaution.
Yeah. So there's.
I was gonna judge the whole reopening because you know it's Spain and there was a lot of. You know, it was pretty bad over there. So I was just surprised that they were opening bars and restaurants before here in Calgary, for example.
Yeah. But I think
continue.
I think the thing is like they are at least from what I've seen in the region that I'm in Murcia. I can't speak for all of Spain, but I think people are being very precautious. So like when I am going out now, not everyone, but like majority of people are wearing masks.
Right.
You know, people are respecting, like, for example, in the pharmacies or things that are open, people are respecting the distance factor. And then when you see in the cafes and everything else, people are very, very spread out. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think in that regards, people are respecting it. And I have to say, I did overdo it, as I told you, when I went out for our first. I met up with a few people. So you're allowed to meet up with groups of up to 10 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the maximum. So I met up with a few of the other language assistants here in Spain, and it was a absolutely beautiful day. It was like 28 degrees.
Aww.
So we were like sitting in the patio in this beautiful courtyard in the sun, having beers, and I just had one cerveza too many. And
what happened, Daniel?
I don't know if I want to say it on this podcast because everyone's gonna think.
Daniel, we've shared a lot. We've shared a lot on this podcast. It's okay. Our listeners are not going to judge.
Yeah, but this is recent, Rose. This is like me recently being a hot mess.
They already know that we're hot messes. Okay, especially you.
You know what?
Daniel, keep sharing. I love this. Okay. Continue.
So basically, out in the sun, having some lovely, lovely beers in the sun, which was nice, and then. We went to this one bar because there's a couple different ones that we went to, and they were serving like it was like €10, and you got this massive bucket of ice with 12 beers. So
oh my God, it's so cheap. Are you kidding? Yeah. €10 for 12 beers?
Yeah. So
is my math correct, or is that less than €1 a beer?
That's less than €1 a beer.
How are they making money?
I don't know. I think it's just cheaper to drink here,
I didn't know it was that cheap. Continue.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a drrink special as well, though. I don't think it's because the other beers that we were getting were pints and they were like €1.50. So.
Oh my God, it's so cheap.
Yeah. And I think we had there was 5 of us. And I think between the 5 of us, we had like 3 of those buckets.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then everything gets a little bit hazy for me. And then when I woke up...
Wait. So you don't remember anything? You blacked out?
Yeah, kind of. I did. I don't really remember getting home, which is really bad.
And then what happened, Daniel?
And then I woke up on my couch with a blanket. And I was like, why am I on my couch and not in my bed? And this is so embarrassing. I don't know if I can even say this on the podcast.
Oh, Daniel, just share. We've all been there.
At the age of 31, I don't know, Rose.
Some of us have.
Yeah, true. So basically, apparently my flatmate said that he found me passed out on the living room floor.
Yeah.
And so he was going to try to help me get to my bed, but apparently I was like dead to the world. So he like helped me get up onto the couch at least. And then he got a blanket for me. Yeah.
How sweet is your roommate?
Yeah, it was super nice. I was like, oh, but
so he found you on the floor.
Yeah, apparently that is so embarrassing. I don't know what I was thinking.
You couldn't even make it to I think you were so drunk you couldn't make it to your bed.
But the weird thing is the thing that doesn't make sense is my room is the first door when you come into the house. So like,
so you went past.
So I went past my room, literally to the other side of the house where our living room is.
That really doesn't make sense.
And then just fell asleep on the floor. So I have no idea.
Maybe you're like, watch some TV, and I don't know. Who knows?
That's probably what it was. I was probably like, I'm gonna watch some TV or something and just like relax. And then who knows?
Oh, but, Lord.
Yeah, super embarrassing.
Daniel. Well, I mean, I guess you were locked up for too long, Daniel.
Exactly. And I just wasn't used to drinking. And, I also think like when you drink in the sun as well, I don't know, it does something to you where you like, maybe you process
It's kind of bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were probably in the sun for hours too. And that like really can make you like more susceptible, I think, to getting wasted.
No, I agree. It's like anytime your body's like hot, I guess. Cause like if you're in a hot tub too, like I've had instances in Canada where I've been like in a hot tub drinking, and then the second I get out of the hot tub, I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
yeah, it's dangerous. You got to be careful.
No, definitely.
Daniel, you ain't 18 no more.
I know. I'll be an
You'd be a grown man.
Older established gentleman.
Established, I'm not sure about, but okay. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God damn, Rose.
God damn, I'd be throwing some shade today.
That's true. I'm always like telling Rose, like, because I'm moving. Well, obviously, you guys know I'm moving back to Calgary. And I'm like, I'm so nervous to get back in the dating scene there. I'm going to be like this old man that's like used goods that nobody wants to date.
You are not an old man. Stop it. Stop it. If you're an old man, are you fishing for the compliments, Daniel?
I am,
Did I not give you enough? I guess I've been roasting you the whole time today.
Mm-hmm.
You is kind. You is beautiful. You is smart. Where's that from, Daniel?
That's The Help.
Yes, so that's a little thing from The Help, the movie.
One of my favorite films.
One of the ladies, such a good film, hey?
It's so good.
One of the ladies says that to one of the girls that she's what were they called? The Help. She was the help for.
She was the help.
A little girl, and she goes, "You is kind, you is smart, you is beautiful."
I know. And
so me and Daniel, we say that to each other.
Exactly. Whenever we're like this, we're like, just remember. Oh God. But yeah, so that's been the situation in Spain. And I think, I mean, overall, when I see like the number of cases and stuff, because everyone keeps talking about like this second spike or what's gonna happen. And so far, it appears that the cases have been continuing to go down in Spain. So that's a good thing.
Apparently, according to this. You know that doctor that I sent you, the Korean epidemiologist, or was he an epidemic? Anyway, the Korean doctor that's like the leading infectious disease expert. Yeah. So for those of you listening, I would recommend going on YouTube and searching Asian Boss, which is a YouTube channel. And they do kind of like news stories, usually based in Asia. And they have been interviewing this South Korean man that has been working with infectious diseases for like 30 years. And they have some really good interviews that are very informative.
Yeah,
and the most recent one, they're so good. Did you watch the most recent one?
I haven't seen the most recent one yet, but I will.
Yeah, highly recommend. Mm-hmm. And the most recent one he did say, he's like, because they were talking about how, places are easing the lockdown. And he's saying, well, in the summer, it'll probably be okay. But then there's going to be a second wave in the fall, most likely. Kind of like flu season, right?
Yeah. Did he say why? Is there any particular reason why in the summer? Is it because the viruses just don't survive the heat very well? Or?
I think so. I think that was... Because I think that's still kind of the case for, a lot of similar things like the flu, for example.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know if he said exactly why, but he said it's more likely going to spike in the fall. I think that's what a lot of people are saying. So what they're saying is we have to be careful now so that, I don't know. Anyway.
It does kind of make sense though, if you think about it, like, because the heat, especially in some places, like in Spain, it's going to get to... Like it's already in the late 20s. It's going to get to the early like 30s in the next couple of weeks, and then into the 40s. So like it's going to be so hot here, and I'm sure it would kill off a lot of viruses.
Yeah,
hopefully. But
I think so. I think that's the theory.
Yeah, But then we got that second SPAC in the fall to worry about. God damn,
I know. And people not being careful, people thinking this is a hoax.
I know.
God damn.
And all the conspiracy theories and everything. God.
Well, for those of you that believe in the conspiracy theories, the doctor actually discusses some of the theories. I actually couldn't believe, you know how we recorded that episode?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how widespread those conspiracy theories were.
Yeah.
There's so many people that believe these, and it's worrisome to me. By the way, we were not calling the people that believe in the conspiracy theories the COVIDiots. We were calling.
Yeah, I saw that comment.
Yeah, everyone thought that we were calling the conspiracy theory believers to be the COVIDiots. That's not what we were saying. We were saying like people like Dr. Phil that were basically saying like, oh, we don't lock people in for car accidents. I was calling him a COVIDiot. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Or somebody that's drinking bleach to try to kill the virus themselves.
Yes.
You know, like, I mean, come on. So,
but like maybe we should be nicer. We won't use the term COVIDiots.
Yeah.
We'll just use it in our private time.
Yeah, in our own private chat. No, because I saw a few, because there was like a few comments about that, about the
about
term.
us using the term.
Yeah.
Oh my God, guys, come on! What's more serious, someone spreading dangerous misinformation, or us calling somebody COVIDiots? What could do more harm? I wonder.
I think. Oh, Rose,
can we guess?
I'm
serious though. It's so annoying.
I know. I think at the end of the day, like, honestly, I do respect other people's differing opinions and things like that. And you're right. I think we make a big distinction, and we're not saying that people that necessarily believe in the conspiracy theories and whatever else, we're not saying that they're COVIDiots. That wasn't like the COVIDiots is specifically a term for people that are doing stupid behavior, such as like hoarding all the hand sanitizer and trying to resell it to people for a ridiculous profit, or,
or spreading the virus, without concern for other people.
Exactly.
That's what it was for.
We weren't saying that
anyway, not important.
Yeah. Yeah. We weren't saying that people that believe in those conspiracies, like, for all means, if you want to, like, go for it. But again, what we're saying is, try to be, open-minded, but try to like rational and look at the theories that are presented to you and try to kind of not pick them apart, but do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, try to like analyze it, and does it make sense? Does it, you know what I mean? Like, question these things, right? So don't just take something that you're like, oh, and a lot of the time, and a lot of those theories that we talked about, sorry, I'm getting like a little bit passionate about this because it was a bit frustrating.
Oh, so frustrating.
A lot of the time it's like these things would be taken really out of context, and it was like almost like there's no correlation between two of the things.
Yeah.
And yet people decide that there's a correlation, and they try to make it seem like that's the case. So
and correlation is not causation, or whatever it's called. Correlation does not equal causation. And sorry, we're gonna piss people off in this episode as well. But this is the SaVeg podcast. This isn't the kind words podcast. Okay, it's a SaVeg podcast.
The positive love podcast.
Okay, yeah, fuck that shit. This is the SaVeg podcast. Listen, okay, the thing is, the reason why I think the conspiracy theories became such a big thing, and I think this isn't people's fault necessarily, because there has been so much confusion and bad press, like bad media coverage regarding this thing. So there's, especially in the US, okay, let's be honest,
100%,
a lot of confusing coverage. Some news networks like Fox News basically telling people that this isn't as bad as it is, and then turning around and saying, actually, it is pretty bad, and then saying it's actually not that bad. Yeah. So no one is giving, there isn't clear guidance, and there isn't clear messaging. So I get why these this is like a, petri dish for conspiracy theories, because people are not, they're not given, proper guidance. And plus there's also a lot of distrust in the government, which, I mean, I don't blame them again. Yeah. But let's also and people are going to listen to this and say, well, you guys aren't being open-minded because you can't think of the possibility that the government could be lying to you. Of course there's a possibility that the government is lying, but realistically, if you're going to make those claims, you're going to have some proof, and like some real proof, not like, oh, Bill Gates owns a foundation that makes money from making that, invests in vaccines. That's not proof. You're going to have to prove to me how much Bill Gates is going to make from those vaccines, which is zero. Pretty sure he said he was going to give them away for free or something like that. Yeah. Once they create a vaccine. So again, there isn't proof.
Exactly.
So right now, because there isn't any proof on the conspiracy theory side other than speculation, I'm going to go with the science and the scientific experts.
Yeah.
And, just basically the actual, people that know what they're talking about, like this infectious disease doctor that has been working in this field for 30 years, isn't affiliated with the World Health Organization, isn't in American politics, lives in Korea. So he doesn't have affiliation.
Exactly.
So why would he lie about it?
Mm-hmm. Well,
tell me.
Well, this is it. I mean, again, this is where I would. Oh God,
Rose, I get so mad.
I know, and I just think again. And I see what you mean about we understand there's distrust with governments and things like that, right? But again, I think with a lot of these theories, you just have to take a step back as well and think just think to yourself okay, I would buy into a conspiracy theory if it made sense. Do you know what I mean? If you logically thought about it, you're oh, actually this kind of makes sense. What's going on here? Then I would question it more. I would want more evidence. But when you take something like saying, China's decided to release this coronavirus because they want to impact the U.S. economy. But it's well, hang on, take a step back. And we know that, first of all, it's fucked up their economy. And secondly, if it fucks up the U.S. economy, it is in relation going to fuck up the Chinese economy. So it just doesn't make sense why that would be the case. So,
and they've also scientifically proven that the virus came originally from a bat, but through some other animal.
Yeah.
So if you watch that video, the same video I talked about.
Yeah.
Basically, the doctor explains that we know it originated from a bat, just genetically speaking, we just know that, but we just don't know because it went from the bat to some other animal and then to the human.
Yeah.
But they don't know what the other, animal is. And the problem was that in China, there, of course, there's some, bad stuff going on in China. They try to cover it up or whatever. So they didn't do a proper investigation to find out exactly which animal it came from because a lot of it was kind of cleaned up or something like that. But we know genetically that it's not man-made. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
If
you
people
don't believe that, then you must not believe in science. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what you I don't know how to talk to you in that case. Anyways, okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna get some hate on this.
Oh goddamn, we both is Rose. We be.
Well, goddamn. Well, I posted that video on because I was I need to share this with people because I feel like this is the prime example of a person that is not biased, that doesn't have an affiliation with some World Health Organization because a lot of people don't trust the WHO or whatever, and. This is just someone that's just talking, logic and science and has experience. And so I posted it and I got this comment and it was Asian boss, which is the channel name.
Yeah.
Asian boss is corrupt. Wait, let me read this comment. Asian boss is complete propaganda. Of course there will be a flu in the fall. Happens every year. And then the powers that shouldn't be will give signals to all their puppet politicians, corpo CEOs, who, and so forth, to scare us into the second, more strict lockdown. And then blah, 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 blah. And I was okay, listen, first of all, I don't know if you watched the video, but he said he's not affiliated with the World Health Organization. Yeah. Second of all, he lives in Korea where they never had a strict lockdown. Yeah. So tell me why wouldn't he? If he wanted a strict lockdown and if he was corrupt, why wouldn't they enforce a strict lockdown in Korea? They have never done that. Never. They just handled it better. Mm-hmm. And if US handled it better, they didn't have to have a strict lockdown in the first place.
Well, probably. A lot of countries wouldn't have had to have strict lockdowns.
Same with Spain.
Yeah. They also said another thing too. The reason it got as bad as it did is the lack of swift acting of the government, basically. So, for example, in China, had they acted sooner when they knew what was going on, had they implemented measures prior, and they did some analysis. I can't remember what it was. If it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior, it showed how many less people would have been infected. And it was the same thing that happened to Italy. It's the same thing that happened to the US. And it was so sad because it's you had China that didn't respond quickly, right? So you had that massive thing. Then China starts responding, so it kind of controls it in China. But at this point, it's now moved to Italy. But Italy also was slow at reacting, right? So Italy becomes the epicenter. And then Italy gets it under control for the most part. Same with Spain, a few of the other European countries. And boom, it's over in the States, who again did not react fast enough. So... And that's why it's kind of part of the reason why we ended up in this situation that we're in. And who knows when it gonna end. God damn.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's this the reason why I get so frustrated with so much of people spreading the conspiracies. And look, it's fine to question it.
Yeah.
But I think people are taking it too far versus questioning it. They're not just questioning it. They're saying like, oh, 100% this is corruption. This is fabricated. And I'm like, you don't know this. How can you say that without knowing this? And anyway, so what was I going to say? Oh, so I feel like it's going to prolong this process even more because a lot of people, some people are saying the masks don't work. Some people are saying that, there's all kinds of stuff. Anyway.
And you have people that are obviously resistant and, are feeling, I mean, you saw some of the protests that happened in the States where they were like, this is a direct violation of our rights as individuals, blah, 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 blah. So if you're going to have this kind of stuff happening, it's going to also, impact basically what the governments are trying to achieve, I guess.
I think the problem with the States and the kind of policies that they have, I understand that people, it's tough because I get why people are upset in the States, for example, because the way of thinking that they've had for many, many years is like, I work and I support myself. I'm an individual. I'm not going to rely on the government. It's kind of that mentality. And that's quite strong in the States, that kind of, I'm a free person and I'm going to do my best to like work hard and make my own money. And I'm not going to get handouts from the government because they think that that's getting a handout from the government when they get kind of, relief from the government. And so I think that I understand people's frustration because the government, I don't think, is doing that much to support people that are, losing their jobs and not able to make rent. Whereas in Canada, we have, I don't know if we discussed this, but in Canada, if you lost employment or can't work due to COVID, you automatically get a $2,000 check for every month. So to cover your expenses or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to get. You just go online, you just do it through your online banking. It's so easy to get.
Yeah.
And they're giving it to everybody that lost employment or whatever. And it's every month. Whereas I'm pretty sure in the US, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the US they gave like a $1,200 stimulus check, they called it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was to everybody, but they gave it to their citizens. I think it was a one-time check. So for people that are, first of all, $1,200 is, for some people that's like not much, especially if they have a family. I don't know if they give it to everybody, but anyways, but I feel like the anger is misguided because I think that instead of saying, let us work, like, release the lockdowns, which could potentially endanger a lot of people, I feel like they should be protesting against the fact that the government isn't doing much to support them.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be the concern because they're bailing out banks, they're bailing out corporations. It's not a handout when you've been paying taxes for many years and you need a rainy day fund. It's not a handout.
Exactly. I don't know. I've never thought of it because we talked about this in another podcast as well. The whole idea of like, we don't mind, like, for example, in Canada, how we have universal health care. And, we obviously pay taxes into that. Well, not right now, but when I'm back there, I will. And even though I might never go to the hospital or never need to hopefully get a dramatic surgery or whatever it may be, I'm happy to pay into that because actually I would rather have that in the back of my mind to know that if I need that care and I need to be taken care of or something like this happens, I know that the government is there to, support and help. And I think it's so important. And I always big up, and I've never lived in these countries and I never like Sweden and Norway and these places, but these countries that have a lot of like government support and yes, they pay a lot of taxes, but at the same time, they're also taken care of. I mean, I don't know. I think that's like in my mind, maybe I'm like, that's like the ideal.
I agree.
I think it's really, really good,
It is the ideal. Well, they have a very high standard of living. And again, obviously, I think it's the mindset as well. The mindset has to change for that kind of system to thrive. And because in the US, there's, it's a very divided kind of country with a lot of two opposing viewpoints. Yeah. So it makes it very difficult, I think. But I mean, again, you are paying taxes into, if you're a tax abiding citizen, or is it called, law abiding citizen, and you're paying your taxes, and you lost your job, you are owed money from the government. I'm sorry, but you have been paying taxes. And instead of that money going into large corporations and bailing out, banks when they've been doing, shady things, I feel like, they should be paying their citizens some money so they can survive and be safe.
Exactly.
Is that radical? I don't understand.
I don't know, bro.
Anyways, this is turning into a political podcast.
No, oh god damn, this is being a sensation. Well, I mean not a sensation. This is gonna cause some controversy.
Well, guys, let me just say that even if you disagree with us politically, it's fine. We can have disagreements. It's okay.
And we're like, honestly, I'm very like supportive of that, and I actually really like to hear other people's opinions, and I like to, do you know what I mean? I like to have conversations about this stuff. So, you know, if we've said something, you know, that maybe offended you or whatever in this session,
or you disagree with,
or you disagree,
we can respectfully have a conversation.
Exactly. So, and I think that's important. But you know what? I thought we'll take a little turn because we've been getting really heavy into the politics.
Oh, goddamn. We've been getting heavy into the politics.
Damn, it'd be heavy as hell. Just like
I'll be ranting about the politics. I don't know. I watch like a lot of political stuff. That's like one of the things I do.
You'd be very politically motivated. God damn.
Oh, God, I ain't politically motivated. I just find it, you know, I don't know.
Interesting.
I find it interesting. I find American politics very interesting because I think Canadian politics, we're all kind of nice and, you know, it's all very, I mean, yes, there are issues in Canadian politics. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as divided. So it's like American politics to me, like now it's obviously a lot more serious, but usually to me it's like kind of entertainment because I think it's kind of funny. But now it's like, getting serious. I mean, it's always serious, but you know what I mean?
And you know, and this sounds really, really bad because again, if there's like Trump supporters out there and stuff that are listening to this podcast, they're not going to like what I have to say.
I mean, by this point, if they've been listening for our podcast from the beginning, I'm sure they're not listening anymore if they're Trump.
Yeah, that's so true. But my biggest thing too is like, especially, you know, during this crazy era and stuff, you know, a lot of the time, like, what I think is kind of sad, it's been a bit of a crazy time in politics in these last kind of like 5 years or so. When countries elect their prime minister or president, whoever it is, like that is somebody that's like the figurehead of your country. Do you know what I mean? And when the figurehead of your country is fucking Donald Trump.
Oh, God.
Who he himself is just so... just extra and just so out there.
Oh,
and so,
extra is such a good way of putting it, Daniel.
Yeah,
you'd be nice as hell.
I'd be too nice sometimes. I need to be more savage. I need to drink some of Rose's savage juice.
No, I mean, maybe there's some people listening to this that support Donald Trump, but really listen to what this man says on a daily basis. And I cannot understand how anyone could support him. I really just don't get it. But God, let me dial it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me put down the savage juice and I'll be nice. Okay. I'll be nice for a second.
And I think there's speculation that he's probably going to get reelected.
Oh God, Daniel, I don't even live in the States and I'm just concerned for that as well. But I feel like he could because the other opposing Democratic leader is a potential sexual assault allegation, which I think is true, maybe happened. Okay. I mean, actually, I don't know. Okay. I don't actually know the facts, but either way, it's not looking good for the Democratic Party. I'll just tell you that much. So, you know, this is exactly what happened, you know, when Donald Trump got elected last time. Yeah. Because people wanted Bernie Sanders. Well, the people, I think a lot of people wanted Bernie Sanders because he's for the actual, you know, he's very progressive, very for the change. And then instead, the Democratic Party, you know, pushed Hillary to be the, you know, and then that caused what? It caused a lot of people to lose faith in the Democratic Party, like left-leaning people, because they thought that Hillary was, you know, not really going to change anything. And then a lot of people didn't vote. I think a lot of people voted for a third party or something. And in the end, Donald Trump won. And I think the same thing might happen this time.
Sad, but I mean, only time will tell, isn't it? It is the U.S. presidential election this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's in November.
Yeah. So.
God damn. I don't know. But I've heard that his ratings are going down because of all this COVID craziness.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Only time will tell, Rose, and that'd be a scary tale. Be so goddamn terrifying.
I don't know if you remember that year that Donald Trump got elected. It was the same year with Brexit.
Yeah, I do remember. It was a crazy fucking year.
It was crazy. I mean, this is a crazy year, but that was probably the second, like, that was a crazy year as well.
Because I remember I was working in London when they were doing the Brexit vote. And I just remember, I want to say I don't remember the exact date, but I just remember going into the office, and a few of the people that were in the office were from like, because you know London, it's so multicultural. One of my friends that was from there was from, she's from Bulgaria, and there was a few other people in the office from a couple other European countries. And I just remember when this happened, everyone was shocked. Everyone like couldn't believe it. And they were like, oh my God, I can't believe that Brexit's happened. And then I remember getting there and I felt so bad because my friend was like a little bit emotional, and she was like, you know, for me, because of the
one from Bulgaria?
Yeah, the one from Bulgaria.
Yeah.
She's like, for me, it doesn't feel like I'm necessarily like welcome here anymore in the UK. And the reasoning behind that and her thought process, which makes sense, is because when Brexit was happening, a lot of the information and the way that they were trying to get people to vote was based on, unfortunately, like underlying kind of racism, as well as there was a lot of promises made. So the two main reasons why they think, or they're saying, were the main key things of the Brexit campaign was around.
Oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know Brexit, it's basically British. Is it Britain exit?
Yeah. So
is that what it stands for?
Yeah, I think something. It's like Britain's exiting of the European Union. So they were all part of the EU, and they're just exiting out of that agreement.
And that vote happened in 2016, the same year that Trump got elected.
Exactly.
So this happened a few months before the Trump, I think half a year before Trump election, or not even half a year. Anyways, continue.
It was very close. I think
just thought I'd explain it for anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah, good stuff. I always forget because I'm like, some people might not be that involved with Brexit, because I live there. So obviously it was huge. I think that the Brexit vote happened, I want to say it was in July of that year, and then the Donald Trump election was November.
I think it was June.
Yeah, June or July, one of those.
June or July, something, because I remember I was traveling. Continue.
Yeah, and I just remember just being like, oh my God. But anyway, so this the girl in my office, she's like, I just don't feel like I'm welcome. And I was saying the two main things around the Brexit campaign, like the things that they were really hammering home, was they said that they were going to, because you have to pay like a fee to be part of the EU. I guess the UK was paying a large fee, and they said, instead of paying this fee to be a member of the EU, we're going to redirect those funds into the NHS. So we're going to give the NHS, so much more funding, and we're going to get control of immigration, because we don't want free movement of people anymore. We don't want people from other countries coming here and taking our jobs. Essentially. Oh God,
it's a very right-wing mentality.
Yeah, and it's funny. Well, not funny, but it's interesting because most of the cities that voted for Brexit were, smaller cities that were, it wasn't like the more cosmopolitan areas, because obviously those ones voted in favor to stay with the EU.
Of course.
And I believe that Scotland and Wales also were in favor. So
it was crazy because I was living in London until basically 2016. So I had just left to go traveling. So I had finished my 2-year working holiday living in London, and then I went on like a 2-month backpacking trip. And I remember I was in Berlin. I just got to Berlin, and I think it was right in the beginning, kind of in the beginning of my trip. Yeah, it may have been in July actually.
Yeah.
And then I heard the news. The crazy thing is, I remember the Brexit talk. There was some Brexit talk, and I mean, I wasn't following the, politics that much. But I feel like nobody in London thought this was going to pass. That's the thing. Nobody thought this was going to pass because it was not much of a talking point in London. It was obvious that it sounded to us ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. In London, because in London, there's so many different people living in London. The mindset is completely different from a lot of small towns. So I think a lot of people didn't take it seriously. Kind of like the whole Trump, when Trump was running for president, a lot of people that are maybe living in the bigger cities, maybe they didn't think that it was going to happen.
Exactly. They thought it wasn't an option. They were like, oh, this is so ridiculous. Like, this isn't even worth us thinking about. Like, this is just not going to happen. And I think Brexit, it was interesting because that year, those two events were both kind of similar in those mindsets where people were like, no way, this can't happen. And then obviously Brexit happened and people were shocked. I was so shocked. It shook the country. They were just like, oh my God. And actually at that time, the prime minister, so the reason that he put that vote out was just to kind of like, this is my take on it, but he put the vote out because he just kind of wanted to appease the people, because there was a lot of people talking, not a lot of people, but there's a few people talking about, wanting to separate from the EU. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to put this vote out. Right. I don't think he thought that it was going to go through. And the second that happened, he pretty much stepped down as prime minister. So he was like,
who was the prime minister at that time?
Oh God. David Cameron, I think.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was David Cameron. Don't quote me on this.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
But yeah, so he basically, as soon as he
stepped down,
he stepped down. And in that time now, so in the last 3 years, they've had the UK's had 3 different prime ministers, because you had David Cameron. Then you had Theresa May stepped in after he stepped down.
Right. And she's very right wing, is she not?
Yeah, and she was the one trying to drive home an agreement, and the whole she honestly had like such a tough time. Like she really, it was crazy. And then obviously when she stepped down, Boris Johnson's come in now. So that's who's there now. So if they get a new prime minister, they will have had 4 in the last 4 years.
So now it's happening. So are they out of the EU now?
Well, I think it's official. Yes. I think they're in like a transition phase right now. So like, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but again, the way that I look at it, and maybe like a lot of this stuff, like leaving the EU, it's such a complex issue. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly, what is right, what is wrong. My main mindset though is like, okay, it's like for the UK, their biggest trading partner for goods, services, and everything is the EU. That's where they do most of their business with, right? And so from my understanding of that is, why would you want to kind of piss off your business partner or, step out of an agreement with your biggest trading partner? Because essentially it meant pretty free movement of people and goods and everything else. And now, I mean, who knows? There might have to be tariffs negotiated. There might have to be, we don't know what's going to be the final outcome of this, so God,
I feel like we've been moving toward a more and more global, globally connected world, and there's always these little things that just keep trying to divide us. It's like,
and pull us back,
and a lot of it is due to just bigotry and discrimination. What's the xenophobia? Is that the term?
Is that when you
discriminating
think
against like foreigners?
Race?
I think it's discriminating against. I could be wrong. Oh my God, it could be a different word. But I think it's when you are discriminating against anybody that's not from like your country or something.
Your country.
Let me Google this just to make sure.
Yeah, Google it just to see what the term is.
Xenophobia. So dislike or prejudice against people from other countries. Okay, so I was right. Okay.
So, but I agree with you 100%. I think, for the most part, the direction that I feel like we were moving for a long time is this direction to be more global, obviously with trade, with business, with travel, with so many different things. Because, I mean, essentially the borders of countries are really just made up lines. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are a global nation. And I think it's the last kind of like period of time with Brexit, with all this stuff going on in the States, I feel like we're taking steps backwards. And people are becoming more nationalistic. Like in the UK, people are like,
which is crazy.
Yeah. Where it's like, I mean, nowadays we're at a point in society now where there's a few things. First of all, like my opinion is like, there's no country out there that can sustain itself without trade, like without trading something with the world, right? It just can't be done.
I mean, I'd like to see you try.
Exactly. and if you could, then you'd be very restricted in the kind of stuff that you have in the country, right?
Exactly.
So that's one thing. And then another thing too is a lot of the issues that we face in the world, such as climate change and everything else, these are global issues. They're not just going to impact one country or another. These are things where we all have to come together and be like, okay, actually, this is a situation for the entire world. It's not like one country is going to be like, oh, I'm not going to deal with that problem over there because it doesn't affect me over here. It does because we're all kind of on this planet together. So I think, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It'd be a crazy time, Rose.
Yeah, I don't like, you make such a good point. It's like we can't survive. It's that same mindset, the whole individualistic mindset, but on a country by country basis. It's like this thought process that we're all like, we all have to just protect our borders and, protect our citizens and not worry about the entire world, even though we are so interconnected.
Exactly.
And like, remind me, but isn't it a very kind of right-wing mentality, free market, not having restrictions in the marketplace? Isn't that a pretty right-wing, thought process?
I think so. And the whole
pretty sure.
Exactly. And the whole idea of competition is on the right wing, where it's like, you know what, if another country, for example, can produce a good cheaper and have a competitive advantage,
exactly,
then they'll be the ones that will be successful, produce that good and trade it to other countries. This is the
exactly.
fundamental...
It's a very business. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fundamental business model of free market or whatever. I don't even believe in a fully free market. I still believe in certain government regulations and whatever. But that is the right wing rhetoric. Okay. So that's like the thought process. So exactly. Then what are you doing? Why is that also the right wing mindset to cut off that kind of, very beneficial trading with other countries?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense that like at all. I know.
Anyway, oh God, we be getting political as hell.
I didn't expect it. We came into this podcast not knowing what we were going to talk about, and this turned into a political...
Politics.
God damn. But I guess, to be fair, though, like, especially... Well, I mean, and I say especially, but, like, in the last kind of, like, few years with what's going on with Brexit and and the coronavirus, everything...
Oh, goddamn.
It's been a crazy time. You know what I mean? Like,
it has.
And politically, it's been a crazy time in the world in the last couple of years.
It has.
So, I think we had like a little bit of a calm period, and now it's like a storm's hit us,
God damn, it'd be crazy as hell. I don't know, goddamn Daniels. Well, now I feel like also maybe with this virus, it also created a lot of even more unnecessary racism and xenophobia, and it's all crazy.
And again, I'm gonna not go out on a limb and say if somebody is discriminating or racist against somebody because of a fucking virus, and they think that it's like because you're a certain race of person that they're the ones that are contracting this virus, you are a freaking COVID idiot. Because like, I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is a really good example. A virus, or if something happens, like a natural disaster or a virus happens, it don't discriminate against rice. It get against anyone.
Against what did you say?
Oh my God.
Against rice? That was hilarious.
Oh God, I don't even know why I said that. Like, it just
that's so funny.
It don't discriminate against anyone.
It don't discriminate.
No, it literally will come for every single person. You ain't gonna be safe.
You ain't gonna be safe.
I don't know why is that it don't discriminate against rice. Like, what the hell?
Maybe you're trying to say like it doesn't just because Asians face a lot of discrimination.
That's true. Maybe that's what I don't even know.
But it's funny that like, I remember because in the very beginning, how like it was when it was only in Asia.
Yeah.
Everyone was like racist against Asians, even though that was not, first of all, that was extremely just the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then it transferred to Europe, and then Europe got hit so much harder than Asia. It was like every European had it. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like, and Asia actually handled it pretty fucking well. So it's like you can't discriminate against a big group of people just because of a virus, okay? Because it was hit in a certain part of the world.
Exactly.
That being said, can we talk about certain policies? Can we talk about how maybe the Chinese government could do a better job at containing things like this or preventing things like this?
Exactly.
We can talk about those things, but again, it's not just China. It could happen in a lot of different places, and it makes no sense to discriminate just because somebody is Asian.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you make a really good point in a sense that like this could happen anywhere, and it has happened in other places. And I think, I'm hoping that this is a global wake up call for several different countries, because ultimately and I think this was in that Asian boss thing, that one of the videos, because I know he's done a few now with that specialist.
So good. I really we should link it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll link it. I will, the new one.
Okay.
'Cause I need to watch it as well. But I think it was in another one of them. He was basically just talking about how, where humans or people are coming into contact with animals, there's a crossover. So wherever that may be it a wet market, be it a factory farm, be it any of these places, this is where these viruses can jump from, can mutate or whatever else. So that's not just in China or Asia. This is all over the world. So at any point in any parts of the world, and it has happened in other countries, such as, the US had that swine flu outbreak that came from a pig farm, so
exactly.
I'm hoping that this is a good wake-up call, and we can actually look to, Korea and some of these other countries that have done actually a really, really good job at containing this, and learn from that and say, actually, let's actually talk to some people from Korea, and what did their government put into place? What did they do that was so effective? And let's try to replicate that for if this ever happens again.
Yeah. And we could work together. Why can't we just work together and not hate each other?
Exactly. It could be like it's a learning process. You know what I mean?
God damn. Well, there's one thing so the doctor said, there's one thing that I disagreed with this doctor on.
Oh, goddamn.
So he talked about, he did say in the latest video, he said, this is very man-made. Essentially, it's man-made in the sense that it could have been prevented because of like we just discussed, messing with wildlife and selling, live animals and, dealing with that kind of stuff. It could have been prevented. It's kind of our fault that it happened, essentially, because humans, we like to, mess with wildlife. And then I think the interviewer said, well, then maybe we should stop eating meat, something like that. And then the doctor says, well, we still need protein. So he's like, it's okay with domestic animals because, I guess when we talk about the virus, of course, what he's saying makes a certain amount of sense that, obviously domesticated animals are, there's less of a chance of them carrying some kind of crazy virus that we're not used to.
Yeah.
So messing with the wild animals is kind of essentially what's going to cause a lot of problems. But a lot of that, there's so many layers to that. We go into areas that we're not, familiar with to take certain things from the wildlife. We do that all the time, not just in China, but anyway. So, and I just want to say, guys, you can get plant-based protein, okay? You don't need protein from the meats, okay? So that's one thing I'm going to disagree with that doctor.
Yeah, there's a lot of other sources of protein. It doesn't need to, you can get it from plants, people. All right?
Yes, people. It's 2020, okay? Let's get behind the idea of plant-based protein.
Yeah. And he did say, like you were saying, he was talking about like it's less of a risk from the domestic animals, but when you have animals in those conditions, like in the factory farms and stuff, what can happen as well is maybe that factory farm is right next to a jungle or a forest or something, and it could transfer from one species into the pigs or into the cattle, and then then it festers in that like petri dish basically because it's like such bad conditions, and then it can pass on to people quite easily. So I think there's a lot to be said, and again, like I said, I just really hope that this is a global kind of learning experience.
Wake up call.
And to be honest, as that doctor said, this probably isn't the last time that something like this is going to happen.
Oh God!
If not, it's going to be more and more kind of prolific and more often. So I think we as people and countries have to be ready and prepared.
It'd be scary as all hell.
It'd be a scary world that we'd be living in.
God damn, this be like because I've heard when you're young, you hear about, the Spanish flu or, those pandemics that cause like millions of people to die. Yeah. And you just think like that could never, like, that's not going to happen, and, now it's kind of happening.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, again, like this is scary. Like in my 31 years of laugh, I've never been in a quarantine. So, in our lifetime, this is the first time we've ever had to do anything like this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Other parts of the world have experienced more stuff, but again, it's on like the doctor said, it's on an upward kind of trajectory. It seems like these are happening more and more often. SARS, MERS, all of these kind of virus outbreaks, and so be scary as all hell. God
damn, Daniels.
This be a depressing ass podcast today.
Wow, we covered a lot of stuff.
I know. I just think it's like I think it's a frustrating time right now, and a lot of people again we're coked up. We're locked.
We're cooped up. Is what you mean? We're cooped up.
I can't even speak today. I don't know what's going on.
God damn, Daniels. Are you hungover today as well?
I feel like I might still be a little bit.
Was this yesterday that you were hungover?
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yesterday, I literally did nothing. I was so bad. But yeah, I think also we're cooped up, so we have more time to like think about this stuff and like reflect and go through this roller coaster of emotions and everything.
Well, we gonna be okay, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah. I think
nature be teaching us a lesson.
Exactly. I have a pretty, to be honest, like I was saying, I have a pretty positive outlook in a sense that obviously this is really horrible what's happening, and I really feel for the people that are impacted, and I know of friends who have actually had people pass away from the coronavirus. So
oh God,
it's
so
sad.
bad.
It's very sad. But again, I try to keep like a positive outlook in a sense that I think when we get past this, there will be some good that will come out of it.
Yeah.
So
I hope so.
It's like that video that Chris Dale sent us that was so beautiful and made you cry.
The positivity made me cry.
God damn.
It'd be sad as hell. There was that other video. You know, that second one you mean the hindsight one. Hindsight is 2020, that one?
Is it the one where he's reading the book to the child?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good. I
know that one.
What's that one's called? Well, The Great Realization is what it was called. I think if you Google it, you should be able to find the video.
Mm-hmm. It's for those of you who haven't seen it. It's really good. It's like a future of a guy. He has like a book that he's reading to his son or whatever. His
kid. Yeah.
And it's all about kind of like what happened after, or like the coronavirus. It's so good. Yeah.
It's so cute. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope that it's true.
I know. Fingers crossed.
But I have a bit of a dark view of the world at this point. So
no, it's just like I wanna try to remain
make the world
positive
a better place
and just see what happens.
Well, we got to do the best, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we can't change the whole world. We're not going to make it rainbows and unicorns, but it's the incremental steps that are going to make a difference.
Exactly.
It's the little steps that are going to make somewhat of a difference, hopefully.
Exactly. And on a more personal and selfish note, I can hope that I can eventually get a flight back to Canada. Yeah.
Well, they're starting to ease restrictions here as well. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So I think they were going to open, I can't remember if they did, but they're going to open hair salons and dine-in restaurants, but at 50% capacity or something.
Okay.
But I don't know if they may have, postponed it.
Yeah.
But they are planning to do that. And I think there's some bars with like patios that might open, but again, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But people are starting to... Yeah.
I think the patios, like to me, like that's why I didn't mind like going out on Wednesday and stuff as well. I feel a bit like you're in an open space. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not enclosed inside. Because even if you're in a restaurant inside at 50% capacity, I don't know, it still feels a bit...
Yeah, to me, the inside, because they say the AC is what causes. So if somebody has it and there's like the AC going, then that could cause like the circulation, and then you could get it from. Yeah. But if you're outside, I do feel like it's a lot less of a risk.
Exactly. On spread out tables away from people. Like honestly, if you saw I should have taken a picture, but if you saw what it was like I felt very secure. You know what I mean? Like
good. I was going to judge you. I was like, what you be doing?
Feel the judgment in your texting, Rose.
I was like, damn it, Daniels, you ain't social distancing.
I know. At least, yeah. But no, I haven't. I've been respecting it and enjoying. I'm trying to, I'm in Spain. I want to enjoy my last few weeks here,
Oh, goddamn, you sound selfish. Nice. Daniels, why you be selfish?
I know, goddamn.
Why you not worry about the spread of this virus?
No, I is, and I'll be respecting.
I'm just joking, guys.
Mask. I'll be sanitizing my fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, God.
Goddamn.
What else is there to talk about, Daniel? Anything else to cover?
Yes, actually, one quick thing. Well, I don't know if it's quick, but we've been talking a lot about me and what I've been doing and all the stuff that's been going on in my life. But I want to hear about you. What's your life update?
My life update isn't much. Okay. Well, our cafe still has to be closed because we're in a gym. So, it's. Oh my God, I don't even know how to like go back to real life anymore. It's a bit strange. I feel like I got so used to this kind of, this life.
Yeah.
Staying home and stuff. Anyway, so because we're rolling things out in phases. So the first phase is like certain restaurants with dine-in options, 50%, barbers, like hair salons, blah, blah, blah. And like, just to note that like our numbers have been going down. So I think that's why they're doing the releasing.
Yeah.
And then I think the second phase is something else. Like there's some other businesses. And then the third phase, the gyms are going to start opening. So gym is like the last phase, which I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, I get it. People are sweating. It's, a lot of bodily fluids are just kind of going everywhere.
Yeah. And a lot of people are, because I thought about this as well. Because like gyms in general, like they're not the cleanest places because, you think about it, you're touching like weights after maybe somebody hasn't washed them or whatever else. Yeah. And like, there's like so much opportunity for cross-contamination and then people touching their face, drinking water, doing whatever else. So I can see that. But I'm kind of sad because, I don't love going to the gym, but like when I get back to Calgary, I want to like get back into fitness and stuff.
We can work out outside, Daniels.
That's true.
I do miss lifting weights. Do you not?
I do too. I know it seems weird because like I've been doing so many, like I've still worked out. I'm doing like body weight workouts. But,
me too.
I miss that feeling of like getting a weight and just and going crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
It just makes you feel so strong.
Yeah.
Like it's a different kind of workout when you're doing body weights. And I still we've still been working out and doing the kind of more intense workouts, like jumping around and all that stuff. And it's, it helps,
100%.
But yeah, I miss the lifting weights.
Yeah.
I want to lift some damn heavy things and put them down. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. When I get back and they open up, you have to come do a Barry's boot camp with me. Have you done it before?
I've done the Barry's boot camp. Yes,
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I think it's a lot of it is very, they use a lot of hot trainers to entice you. It's like kind of cultish, but it was nice. It's definitely a hard workout. Don't get me wrong. It was very fast paced. I was like, the first time I went, I was like, I don't even know what's going on. It's kind of confusing. Everyone that goes there is like very hot. So you're like, okay, I feel like that's the motivation. You're like, oh, everyone here is hot. So I'm going to become hot.
It is a bit intimidating. I remember when I first went and like a bunch of the guys were like working out shirtless on the treadmills and stuff. And they all had like,
so many hot guys.
I know. But
I swear 80% were gay though.
Yeah. This is why
when I went, I was like, oh my God, they're all gay. Unfortunate.
Yeah. But this is why I need to go to Barry's boot camp. Maybe I
this
can
is why you need to go.
Potential future Calgarian boyfriend,
Yeah. It's very expensive, Barry's boot camp. Yeah,
that's true. I'm not going to go
How much is it in London?
Well, in London, I did something. So in London, they had like a lot of knockoffs. Not knockoffs, but you had Barry's boot camp, but you had like other people that were doing similar things. And there was one right by my office called Sweat It. Right. And it was a very similar concept, almost exactly the same. And I could get it through ClassPass. So I bought ClassPass.
Right.
And then I was able to get it. So it didn't work out as expensive. I think it was like maybe, I want to say it was like 10 or 12 pounds per class.
Yeah.
Which is better because Barry's is like 18 or 20 pounds per class.
Oh my God, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And they're not on ClassPass.
No, exactly.
I checked. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe I'll do they have ClassPass in Calgary too? I might do that.
They do have ClassPass, but Barry's bootcamp is not on ClassPass. Yeah, but they have other studios that do, basically the same thing. That's the thing. It's like, it's that kind of, that's why it's kind of cultish.
Yeah.
Like it's not a cult. Okay. Obviously guys, I'm joking. It's not a cult. It is it's more of they're very good at the marketing of, the fitness studio as like something to aspire to, you know what I mean? So they have the hot trainers and I'm sure they build a community around it. And, I could tell that when I went, a lot of the same people were coming in because they were all talking to each other. Yeah. So they're obviously building some kind of community around it. But if you want to get a good workout, you don't have to go to like Barry's boot camp. You can do, any other fitness workout.
But I'm thinking
like that is,
Exactly. I'm thinking, Rose, this is the thing. When I get to Calgary, where's a great place to meet hot guys potentially.
We gonna go to Barry's boot camp because they have a lot of hot gay men there.
Oh god damn. So if any of you listeners are from Calgary, hello.
Meet us at Barry's boot camp.
Yeah.
It's an investment. We'll pay the $25 per class for Daniel to meet his soulmate.
God damn.
Well, we gonna join some running clubs, aren't we?
That's true. Yeah, I do want to do that. Like, I think that would be cool. So, if you actually do, well, if anyone knows of any good running clubs in Calgary, let me know.
Is anyone from Calgary that listens to this podcast?
I don't think so. It's not very many. It's mostly like other cities. Calgary's like, it's probably just when you listen to it or something, it comes up as a stat.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's all good. We will.
Anyway, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this political discussion. I'm sure I pissed some people off, and
we both did.
That's the podcast game. I don't know. I mean, apparently it's a radical idea that people should have healthcare and should be protected by their government, but we live in 2020.
You're so radical, though, Rose. Honestly, like your ideas, it's just mind blowing.
I'll be savage as hell.
God damn. Definitely. God damn.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our little SaVeg discussion regarding the the coronavirus conspiracies and our thoughts on them.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. As always, let us know what you think in the comments section if you're watching on YouTube, or give us a rating on iTunes or wherever you're watching us.
Should we plug that advice column that we're gonna do?
Oh,
what are we gonna call it? Can we not call it? I feel like slice of advice is too long.
How about what about the SaVeg?
The SaVeg hour, huh?
The SaVeg slice.
But what's the slice though? The slice doesn't make sense.
It does. The slice is like you're giving the slice of advice. But
is that a term? Guys, let me know. Let us know in the comments.
Okay.
Slice of advice, is that actually a term?
It 100% is. 100%. I've heard it before.
Oh,
it's like
really?
It's like giving someone a piece of advice. You know, you give someone a piece of advice.
Oh, okay.
So a slice is like a slice of pie or a slice of whatever.
Okay, fine. We'll call it SaVeg slice.
I think
to
that's
appease
good.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you,
it's the SaVeg slice. It's SaVeg slice. Wait, so are we going to be like, oh, it's time for the SaVeg slice.
So cheesy. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, guys. Yes, we're going to call it. So it will be the SaVeg slice. And we'll just say, hey guys, on this episode of the SaVeg slice.
Okay, no. I need to take a vote. Okay, you guys. Okay. Anyone that has the ability to comment on YouTube, okay? If you're on YouTube, you can comment. Or you can send us a DM, send us a message or whatever. Yeah. And let us know what you think we should name our advice column.
Yeah.
And if you agree that SaVeg Slice should be the name of our advice column. We've been trying to talk about this for a while. We've been trying to come up with a name.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking the SaVeg Slice is very cheesy.
We need to like come up with one soon though too, because we're doing our first episode of this very, very soon. So we've had a few people send us some emails and some DMs and stuff. So thank you very much for those of you that submitted some situations or, you know, life advice that you need
from us, unqualified professionals. So
yeah,
if you guys still want to submit your, you know, issues, you can email us at thesavagepodcast@gmail.com or send us a DM on Instagram, I think. Yeah. Daniel, you're keeping up with the DMs? Okay.
I sure am. I am. So yeah, just send us something on there. And as always, guys, like, this will be completely anonymous. So we're just going to discuss it. And again, unqualified professionals, but we're just look at it as like your friends having a little discussion, and me and Rose will give a little slash of advice of what we would do in that situation.
Okay, fine. We'll God damn the slice of advice. We're going to record that next week, are we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Let's make it next week. Okay. Because, you know, some of it might be timely. You know, we got to make sure we get that advice out there.
Exactly. We have so much stuff we need to get out there, like ASAP.
Oh, goddamn.
I'll be stressed.
Daniel, I think we should... well, I mean, all that hard work you're doing over there in Spain in lockdown, you know.
You see what I have to live with? Anyway, okay. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And yeah, have a fantastic week.
Thank you for listening or watching. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.